We are into draft as Viego is the first takeaway here for 99 Woodcutting, denying some of that carry potential as the QRU jungler.
Absolutely. I mean, this is Viego was a jungler that, with durability updates, still maintained his popularity. Still was a lot of people were wanting to play him. They were picking him into stuff like the Wukong matchup, for example, in
Mm.
places like China and things. So obviously, a very strong jungler there. You immediately see the Aatrox you were mentioning. You know, they're not going to give that one over. As you said, terrifying on the champion. Let's not give it over. Trundle is another ban that I think is quite interesting here,
Mm.
because a lot of the time you do occasionally see blind Trundles, but usually it's a reactive pick in the jungle rather than something we should go, yeah, Trundle works into every champ. So interesting to see that
Mm.
ban coming through.
What do you
It would
expect
Wukong
99
as
Woodcutting to
well.
look towards then if they're banning out Trundle, banning out Viego?
I
Maybe
mean,
something like a Castus jungle, maybe something that like
yeah, maybe
needs
something.
to
I
scale
mean,
up.
it it's something where more like I'm surprised that they would ban it, because like the immediate thing you think of, which is not something you see in the jungle very often at the moment, is something like the Sejuani, right? Like you sit
Mhm.
there and go, okay, Sejuani is a champion often running aftershock. Any aftershock champions hate
Oh
facing
wow.
Trundle, and they ban for this is so many jungle bans.
I think they're trying to
This is
force
so many jungle
they're,
bans.
they're trying to force Alientogato onto something like the Kayn, I think, here. Because they play like 4 or 5 champions. Viego, Kayn, Fiddlesticks, and Trundle are the 4 most played champions, and they're not banning out that Kayn. Maybe
Mm.
they have an answer
They
prepared, or
also,
maybe they're going to first pick it.
you know, Kayn is a champion where, yeah, you play it, face it in solo queue, and it's absolutely terrifying, and you know, it's frustrating as hell. But when you're playing an organized play, it isn't something that it can be, you know, traditionally. It can't pop off as consistently in solo queue because generally there are less, you know, huge blunders maybe
Mhm.
you'll see in solo queue. Whereas a champion like Viego is very stable inside of an organized environment. So is Trundle, so is Fiddlesticks. So maybe they're sitting there going, listen, you can play the Kayn because we're more comfortable, have something into it, and we're not going to make the mistakes that make Kayn so scary. But
It's
Rast is still terrifying. Rast as
oh,
as a champion is absolutely terrifying with Death Stance, with Gore Drink, or whatever he wants to build. He's terrifying. He has the
well,
damage.
that's
Lethality on him is strong as well. So it's just, I mean, maybe you'll see this. I'd be surprised if they picked it early, because it would be something where there are things you can take into it. And we do see the Gangplank first pick
yes,
as
there we
well.
go.
So
Thank you. I talked about it. Gangplank first pick here, coming in for 99 Woodcutting. You ban the Aatrox, still super strong on this
Seraphine's
Gangplank,
available.
as Seraphine is the answer for QRU.
Yes.
No Monkey, because it's been banned by themselves. I'd be really interested to see what they pair
No,
that with.
so yeah, I was gonna say Senna Seraphine's available.
Mhm.
Swain is available. So like, I mean, you know my love of Swain at the moment. I think if you
Mhm.
take stuff like Senna Seraphine and then grab like a Swain mid, it's just terrifying. He can't die in mid game team fights. The amount these the strength of these champions is the fact, like, if you go Seraphine and bot, even just without a Moonstone, with something like a Leandri's, her W means that Swain is just permanently in your back line. He's on top of you. Riley's rush Swain means you can never
Oh.
leave him. You know, he's possessive, he's controlling, and he's just not ever letting you leave. And these two champions behind him, you could never kill him. So I would like to see. I know, obviously, maybe they don't play it in mid, but something where like you have a big threat in front of you for these mid game team fights that just has to be answered. Which obviously Suede is prime example of that. But we do see Jhin Rakan coming through as well.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of this answer, because I don't think you might be able to look for plays early in bot. But Senna Seraphine, especially, obviously Senna will most likely be fasting. Seraphine will most likely be in that bot carry role. It's just an incredibly stable lane,
I
and
think the
it's
idea behind
difficult to remove it from where it is, as we see Kayn coming through as well. Kayn is another Rast with these two champions as well. Rast in front of these two champions is absolutely terrifying. I mean, there is a bit of a draft thing here, maybe from 99 we're cutting them going, listen, the way we're picking here is that we're going to force you to pick Kayn on 3, and then we're going to ban out some of the stuff that we're more scary in mid. But overall, I'm seeing this draft, I'm seeing, you know, a Rast angle, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't want to face that.
yeah, I mean, obviously, Jhin. I think the idea behind the Jhin Rakan lane is that Rakan can maybe roam while Senna Seraphine can't really threaten out the
Mm,
Jhin. Play towards the Gangplank picked up in the top side, but with the Kayn picked up here, it's a lot of sustain for a champion that already gets quite a
yeah.
lot of sustain, especially against something like a Jhin. Not really going to be able
Yeah.
to tear through the Kayn in the same way that something like an Aphelios or a Zeri might be able to. QRU hit, banning out these high damage control mages that, of course, the mid laner,
Yeah.
PMAQV is, aka 191919, it's very well known for. The Akali this time, though, banned away by 99 Woodcutting. I think if you take away a lot of these mid damage potential options, you do kind of force 99 Woodcutting to play through this top lane and a counterpick Gangplank matchup.
Yeah, I was going to say that's another thing you'll look at this, how this draft is sort of unfolding, is that you're going to be able to, if you want to, by QRU, get the counter pick in mid and the counter pick in top. with a bot lane that's incredibly stable and a Kayn that is going to have essentially 2 enchanters to keep him alive and to run through your team. So where you're saying obviously Rakan wants to roam to lanes, sometimes it's just not always possible in certain matchups. And if you can manufacture those matchups by QRU here, you're going to have a Rakan that's almost trapped in a lane where he really can't do much. But you are going to see
Ornn counter
Ornn
picking the Gangplank. I think this is quite interesting because both these champions obviously scale quite a
scary
lot.
with your comp, but
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously gives a free lane for Gangplank to scale up, but also Ornn's going to be providing so much gold value. If you think your rest of your comp is already good, Ornn will act as a false multiplier. But Sylas here to steal
Sylas
away
blind.
that Ornn hold. Sylas here is kind of insane, right? You ban out the caster, I think, so you can't do so much against him. KhaZix as well. I really want to see something like a Veigar here on 5. I think a Veigar for QRU here. Something that can control these champs that need to be getting in close. Gangplank needs to get close. Sylas needs to get close. KhaZix, the OTP.
This is unironically a Swain angle of dreams, by the way. It's going to be around.
Instead,
I was going to say it could also be as an aside here. I
it's going to
wouldn't
be
be
the
that upset
Ashran.
with
Hold
Ornn
on.
mid, but you might not play it.
What's it going to be? It is going to be the Yasuo mid lane. Oh my lord. Matchup for the ages. Double melees bashing into each other. But looking at these team comps, I think I give the draft to QRU.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I obviously rant about it. It's a Swain Angler Dreams. Everyone's running into you, and you're never going to die with Senna Seraphine, but Yasuo as well. You've got Ornn. You're going to most likely have that Rast. You know, he's going to be getting that knockup as well. Knockups of your own. So you've got decent sources of getting your ult off here. Sylas versus Yasuo is quite an interesting matchup because even though a lot of people would argue something like Sylas, you know, he maybe has a weaker time. I've played both sides, and honestly, with Sylas being able to have a knockup of his own, he can utilize Yasuo ult surprisingly well if he does land those chains. So it is a bit of a madman's matchup, though. Like, you have to be sort of deranged to play it because you need to just be brawling constantly and just, you know, confident that you're able to heal through it as Sylas, or you're going to be able to get out. Like, you've just got to constantly just be slamming into each other. And you do have a lot of good ults here to steal as Sylas, right? You've got Seraphine ult, terrifying. You've got Ornn ult, really, really good. Yasuo ult's absolutely fine for you as well. Kayn ult's really good. And even Senna ult, which you could argue is maybe
The best
the
part
worst or the worst or the best, depending on how you view it. All of these ults are really, really great.
Yeah.
You do have a lane to roam to as Rakan, but it's not necessarily the easiest. Overall, like, it's a bit of more like this is a 99Woodcutting. You know, you're saying the older team, you know, maybe the boomer team. They're really putting a lot of mechanics to the test here,
Yeah,
lane mechanics to the test. And this is like a real, like, this would be a skill difference more than a draft difference if 99Woodcutting pull this out, because you've got a lot of champions where you've got to be laning well on that Gangplank, laning well on that Sylas, looking for plays with the KhaZix, maybe looking for invades onto this Kayn, because Kayn's like 0.75, you know, 75% of a champion before he evolves, and then he's like 2 times a champion when he is Rast or Shadow Assassin. So if you can get force leads, you know, force him out of his jungle early and look for plays early, you do have a very good chance here. And I am quite surprised, something that we didn't sort of harp on too much, is Ornn into GP is not a winning matchup. It's not bad for Ornn, but it's not a matchup where you go, yes, I have counterpicked Gangplank. Like, it's very surprising to me that maybe they've gone for this when there's obviously a concern they ban Kayn second phase, but Ornn is a champion where we saw it get punished last game as well. He is in a position where he is punishable. So I'll be interested to see. Obviously, counters to Gangplank maybe don't fit into QRU's comp so well, but I'm interested to see if this Ornn pick actually works out for them, or doesn't just have the issue where he gets shot a bunch of times by GP and can't really lane. We'll have to see.
We will have to see. But just like one final thought in terms of how you think this match is going to go. Personally, QRU, I think they got an Exodia comp, but obviously Exodia only works like if your opponent doesn't have a counter spell, right? 99Woodcutting do have their hands. They're obviously veteran players. They'll be able to perform under pressure, but they have a lot of difficult. I think they're gonna have a difficult time making this game up, but if they do, it could be explosive.
Absolutely, I would give QRU the advantage here, but again, I would definitely not say that 99Woodcutting are out and they've been completely diffed. Like, I think there's a lot of things you can do here with GP, with Jhin, with Rakan coming in. I love GP Rakan as a combo. Being able to get that Death Slaughter down quite easily, and as the game goes on. So definitely not out of it by any stretch of the imagination.
But we're going to throw to a quick break just while we wait for Spectator Delay to come through. Don't go anywhere. Game 2 of the night. 99Woodcutting up against QRU. It's going to be a good one. We'll see you there.
See you then.
Everyone, and welcome back to the stream. It is 99Woodcutting on blue side, Sky QRU on red, and we said that Sky QRU have maybe the draft advantage here, but can 99Woodcutting with their veteran skill, their veteran talent, pull something off, and maybe pull something off in this invade that they seem to want to be doing.
No 5-point defense coming out here. They're going straight for this invade, which, I mean, I feel like this is a bit of a 50-50 really. I wouldn't say your early get, your level 1 is that much stronger. Obviously, Kayn not really a champion, but still, they're just looking to maybe scout out whether he's starting Raptors.
Really nice ward there, gonna deny any further engage there. Nicely done, nicely read by Alientogato. Realizing, as you say, not a champion quite yet. Probably will be starting on Raptors still, but nicely done, nice defense.
So, one thing I would quickly say, obviously we've got this Senna Seraphine, you've seen this bot lane a lot. What is a bit of an understated sort of aspect of it is that usually, obviously, you put your ADC on the Senna, but this your ADC needs to understand how to ward as well. They need to understand how to almost play two roles at the same time and understand where this vision has to go down as the game progresses, because they are the source of the vision as well. So we'll have to keep track of that a little bit on whether, on invades, on getting priority in bot lane maybe, and see if the Senna is actually, isn't just an ADC main, they also have an understanding of how that they want to play the map. That's one thing I just want to quickly remark on now and have a keep sort of track on that. But as you see, they're going to start on red buff here, give the KhaZix a nice little leash as Kayn is being leashed on red and not starting Raptors, which is actually quite rare.
As we go into a pause, jungle tech issues, tech diff jungle, playing in a quote-unquote literal jungle. Thank you there, Dyrone. But yeah, to go into a pause, nothing much has happened, obviously. But anything else you want to comment on? Anything with the summoners? Anything?
I mean, again, we noticed that, you notice here that the only thing that really stands out is that KhaZix is obviously running that Conqueror. So, this is a game where if you went like the full assassin KhaZix, you're going to have probably the worst time, right? We were just discussing it in the rate. It's going to be really difficult to really assassinate anyone. You sit there and think, oh, Senna's squishy, Seraphine squishy, but not really when you've got so many champions on top of them. You can't really look to maybe even assassinate someone like the Kayn prior to level 6 or try and get him before he turns Rast or whatever it may be. So he's going more for that bruiser KhaZix style, which makes more sense within context of the game, but you are trying to play a bruisery brawler style into a team that is, if there's anyone that screamed let's team fight and run you over, it's got to be QRU's draft.
Yeah, I think QRU's draft a lot of sustain all across the board, right? Not just in terms of health from SonS, Charizard, and Alientogato. 99Woodcutting, please buy anti-heal at some point. CalmMind, though, also has a lot of sustained damage on this Yasuo. Ornn as well. If they can get multiple brittle drops off in a fight, can just chunk out something like the Sylas, something like Gangplank over and over again. Now, obviously, there are some tools for 99Woodcutting to play, right? As we said, the setups with Dyrone, with IX down towards the bot lane. Obviously, double global ultimates feels pretty good, especially if you're stealing away that Senna ult. That's a third global ult on that Sylas. But still, it does feel like they're going to have to look for those spectacular plays, whereas QRU are just going to be able to play these team fights front to back. Yeah,
front to back is so much. Well, you just made a point about anti-healing. You got to also think on who on 99Woodcutting can buy effective anti-healing.
If I'm looking, I think it's you have to go the Putrefire and Rakan here.
It's like I was thinking, like usually you'd see, with Rakan wouldn't want to go that Putrefire. He'd want to maybe look towards, getting a Shirelia's Shirelia's. Some people go lock it, but Shirelia's is the right one. Into something like a Ziggs or something, or Knight's Vow or Redemption or any of these things. You want to avoid Putrefire because obviously he isn't a traditional enchanter. But then, like, Jhin does not want to build anti-healing. Sylas doesn't really want to go anywhere close to that Oblivion Orb. He really wants to be getting towards his core items and his throughout power spike as quickly as possible. KhaZix, if KhaZix goes towards something like that sort of more poke style KhaZix, W evolve and goes it, but also GP doesn't either.
Gangplank Chainsaw does have ridiculous gold efficiency.
Yeah.
It's like 115%. Maybe you'll see that on KhaZix. If you're going Brawler, you kind of like those those stats as well. But yeah, as we go, we got the pause. Bounce
the pause
back
of the pause.
Well, we can see a knock-up here happening in the bot lane onto SonS, but I don't think you can do too much with it.
Yeah, we were just saying about Chem Tech. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, KhaZix could go it. I actually want to see, now that I think about it, I want to see KhaZix go towards this more poke style build in a weird way. I don't want him to go full brawler. I want him to go W evolve first, and then maybe look towards getting the Chempunk
Chainsword.
Chempunk Chainsword. Who even uses that? A Chempunk Chainsword, maybe a Man Immune or something, and look more towards that style. Oh, we've also, and also not even to mention, there's a lane swap.
Wow.
Thank you,
Actually,
we didn't notice that.
I do like this. I do like this. CalmMind is going to have a lot worse time versus Gangplank than they are versus Sylas, I think. He's just going to get queued in lane, eating up a lot of damage from these barrels. And StarFuria isn't going to be able to threaten out the Sylas in the lane. Yeah, nice trade set and nice strategy from 99Woodcutting.
I actually do really like this. I really like this lane swap. Sylas as well, giving him a much easier laning phase to get him towards like getting that Everfrost, get some cooldown boots, get like the Zhonya's and Cosmic Drive. You know, those are his sort of core in nearly every game. Get him working towards that. You know, giving him a freer lane where you're also assuming Kayn isn't going to put too much focus towards an Ornn lane that you'd picked into a GP, so you're playing it. You're designed to play it weak side. So I really like this lane swap. I think it's going to give. We were saying about how, you know, they need to make individual plays and start, you know, being very confident and playing like that instead of sort of going around huge team fights, and this is definitely a start towards that and giving Sylas that choice, as we see a nice little route coming through. But...
yeah, nice little route, nice little trade. Dyrone and IX have hit level 3 first, but there's not that much
Kayn's
more
coming.
Okay, Alientogato is in the area. Dyrone exhaust damage down, flashes away, not from the W. The heal is there, the sustain is there, the double flash, burst blood over to the Kayn. Disaster for 99Woodcutting.
Oof, that's really. Really rough.
Look at how much wave he loses.
Yeah. Oh, he loses so much off of that. And it's at a time when, you know, it's a bit later than maybe you would have expected Kayn to come in for the gank. It's just, this is a champion, you know, he's already got the Iron Spike whip now. We knew he was going to be going towards that Ras. He's got the Conqueror, so he's going to be going towards the Gore Drinker and then Death Stance and onwards. And you don't really have a way of dealing with him once he hits those items. I guess the only positive you can take away is that he was hitting, you know, but he was hitting Rakan at the same time. So it's not even like he's working with Shadow Assassin over Rast.
Rakan is a ranged champion, fun fact, I think.
Oh, does he count? Ah.
I think he counts as a ranged champion. I know, I don't put Runans too much on the champ, but if I remember, he does count as ranged. So is going to be going towards that Shadow Assassin form, but still, I don't think that's
by the way.
too big of... It's like, you see, you're the color, it doesn't even matter. It's fine.
Yeah, it's the only hope, really. That's it, right? It's like, you don't get Rust. You don't, that's the only hope.
Speaking, IX is actually looking towards mid. Look to try and influence CalmMind here. Does have the dash. There's no escape for Yasuo
so
here.
low.
Does have the flash away. Not enough. The knock up the ignite. Pew! Picks up a kill. Fish Soul in the mid lane.
They trade back, so IX doesn't get... Like, you know, he doesn't get... Nothing happens in bot lane. You know, he ends up having his ADC full and he walks mid and picks up a kill. I mean, that's at least a great return here as you see a really nice train in top.
But look at the minion advantage. So far in favor of StarFuria, QB eats up a lot of damage, actually comes out worse for wear.
I mean, and this is... oh my god, that's not the trade you want to be seeing. You can't walk back into that. You just let the minion wave come into you. You're going to get... you know, Bellows Breath on your top of yourself, and you're gonna get that damage coming in. Owen's not gonna push anything else, but it is just a bit of a concern to see.
Sparky looking for the mid lane. Yeah, it does obviously have the flash advantage now that CalmMind no longer has. There's no teleport as well. Maybe can look for something, but nice. Knows the way he's pushing into them. Plays it safe. SonS making an aggressive trade, but yeah, there's not that much immediate go buttons when your Rakan is not level 6. Maybe you can get a dragon. You got a lot of fire in the mid lane, a lot of fire in the bot lane, but it doesn't look like Sparky really wants to go for it.
No, it is a Hextech Dragon, and that does do an awful lot of damage early on, so you do have to be very careful when taking it if you're not too sure the enemy jungler is. You know, you can be caught out very, very low as Kayn is ganking him in again.
Called out. Flash is here for Fishtail. Doesn't even need it, but nice. Gonna get a little bit more lane pressure for CalmMind there. Not finding the kill, still getting the damage, still useful for Kayn.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that you're now going to be seeing this Kayn try and avoid focusing. If he can get kills, it'll be great, but he is going to be looking towards, you know, focusing Sylas as... you know, we see Kayn doing Dragon here. This is going to be an interesting fight because, as you said, Hextech does a lot of damage here. So he, even with a couple of autos, you know, he's been forced, you know, reasonably low from just trying to kill it.
Luckily,
look at it.
He does have a lot of sustain.
He does have a lot of sustain, but
IX looking for the play. So is Fishtail. Does have the level 6 flash forward to knock up damage coming down. The root is there. Alientogato will end up falling. Dragon is resetting. Dyrone walking forwards. The ult coming down. Dragon will go over to 99Woodcutting in this trade.
I think there was a little bit of misread of the game almost. GP had, you know, prio. He was able to get there, even though the lane is now shoving it in. GP was first to the dragon there. GP ult as well. He's going to be able to influence that fight way before Yasuo even can. And I can't really believe that they were trying to force that when as this Kayn, your main focus, yes, it's nice getting dragons, but you really need to be getting to that Rast as soon as possible. You need to be focusing these solos and getting that form as quickly as you can. So I'm a little bit surprised he tried to go for that there, but it just doesn't work out. And we see huge trades coming through in top. It's just constant fighting on both lanes.
This is not the fight you want to be taking, dashing into that wave. I think he's glad he's missed the Q, actually, or he would have taken so much more damage. We'll have a wave pushing on turret, probably going to get poked out here, though. Look at that, man.
Unfortunately, so lost that shield as well. Yeah, like, we do see Kayn ganking top.
StarFuria very low, has the unstoppable damage, the knockback, the kill goes over, Ornn lives on an inch of health, and QB is sent packing.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, oh my god, CalmMind is so low.
Wait, Son's roaming mid with the heal, keeps CalmMind alive. That's just a bit of a mystery there by Fishtoll. I'm sorry, not by, yeah, actually, yes, by Fishtoll. I got confused for a second. Looks to make the aggressive play. That works out very well if Senna is not in the area, but the heal comes through. That's gotta be a tilter.
That's just unbelievably tilting, right? Like, how often do you expect that Senna? It wasn't that Senna had, you know, exited through her base gate and had managed to cover mid. She'd walked straight down mid lane and managed to cover that play. I mean, that's, you know, 99Woodcutting here. You could argue, you know, with the kill on the top lane going over to the side of QRU, that's not the best. But this mid lane matchup has been going so well for them at the moment. And if you were saying, you know, playing around this GP is working out a treat, really. Even though he did fall there, like, he's still getting leads. Like, he's forcing this Yasuo to be low as IX is in mid again, maybe looking to either cover a play or make his own.
Speaking of covering a play, I know it's been like a hot second, but props to QRU for realizing that play was happening in the mid lane and having, you know, the humility to send Senna over to cover, right? I know if I'm playing Senna, I'm just going to go bot lane, going to try and get as many souls as I can. But covering that play works out so well for them. And actually, Yasuo now has a level lead over Dyrone in this, over Fishtoll in this mid lane. And has got that Vamp Scepter, going to be sustaining up just a little bit. Solo kills become just that mite harder. Meanwhile, IX looking towards the top lane, not able to find anything. Sparky walking towards the mid, though, maybe trying to stop out CalmMind under their turret. Just going to put down the Herald. But the wave's going to be clear.
Look at this goal going to GP, by the way. Like, this is so much.
Look at all these champs going into GP as well. The dash, the gank here from Alientogato won't find anything. It's a 3v2 knock up there from IX. Will just walk it out, but only get like 2 plates in the mid. Could be a lot worse for.
It's just constant fighting around this mid lane, really, at this point. Obviously, there's been a little action on the sides, but they're just trying to influence this mid lane matchup as much as possible. That's a huge trade.
Sylas does get one back with the Kingslayer. Obviously, a massive part of Sylas' trading pattern. But as this Ornn gets more items, I think with Sunfire, it just becomes very difficult to trade. This is what happens when you shift the matchup to get you an advantage in the mid lane. You do end up losing a little bit on this top side. Sylas doesn't have the same solo kill potential onto an Ornn that they might have onto something like this Yasuo. And Sylas, I think of as like an early sort of mid-game champion, has a little bit harder time playing out these late games because he's melee. So not being able to find these leads, still falling behind in CS versus the Ornn, not what you want to be seeing. As the knockup comes through and Alientogato might be looking to secure this lead even more. Knockup flashed away from, but still QB forced back.
And something we haven't just said is that that's Rast. It's already Rast.
Already Rast.
So he's already got form. He's working towards the score drink of this dive.
The gank, the lockup, the ults won't be enough. StarFuria will survive thanks to the Senna shield. A clean 1-0 tower dive.
I mean, Rast is online, baby.
That's Rast.
He's coming. He's coming for you. He's going to get that gold ring. He's going to walk towards Death Stance. He's going to become an absolute force in this game. It won't even really... It's not as important, you know, Rast, you know, him getting this form so early is so much more important than GP having this good laning phase. It's so much more important than, you know, even something like the Senna Seraphine. This Rast is like a key, you know, a champion. Whenever Kayn is picked, he needs to warp the game around him. I mean, he needs to be the sole focus of both sides. And him being this strong this early is going to be absolutely terrifying to deal with. And I would not want to be facing this right now if I was the side of 99Woodcutting.
I just want to contrast this quickly with Jungle Sparky. Not able to really find anything. Did pick up that Hextech Drake to the overextension from QRU earlier on. But now building towards that Gold Drinker. Knockup though comes through on to IX. Yeah, there's not going to be too much action here. But yeah, Sparky not able to get priority around this dragon. Mid lane getting pushed in here. Bot lane is even. But I think in this team fight, Alientogato is going to provide so much more value. A level up as well. Fishtail looking for the play though. Actually looking for the engage, knocks up, but it's the Ornn, not anyone that valuable. Rakan in the backline, dashing away, huge
Seraphine ult.
combo, baby! One dead already, how much more can you get? Sparky looking for the assassination, SonS will get picked up by that barrel combo. CalmMind though, surviving, forced to flash away, no lock up here, means it actually goes in favor of the flash balls by StarFuria, picks up the kill, Alientogato and Charizard look to make the play, and it's a 3-1 in favor of QRU. Maybe actually even a 4 because Rakan died early on. Massive plays for the QRU squad.
What a Seraphine ult is. It says that the jungle has had enough. No,
yeah.
but they have paused. That's the kind of fear you've got to be having now. This was that kind of team fighting where we were worried about this right in draft. We were so worried that you have a team fight comp that you just can't deal with. When you have this Senna Seraphine bot, Seraphine ult is just an absolutely huge team fighting tool. And Kayn in front of it, how do you deal with it? I mean, Kayn, look at that fight there. Initially it looks actually like it's not, you know, people are falling, but they looked all right. Like the you know, we see the Senna end up getting picked up, and you go, okay, GP's doing a bit of damage. He's, you know, maybe there's a chance here, but Kayn was full HP the entire time. Kayn is still alive, and he's there. You can't kill him.
I'm not sure Kayn was full HP the entire time. I think he was 95%, 100%, 95%, 100%, 95%, 100%. So much sustain. As the Cloud Rift is coming, one dragon apiece at this point. But massive fight there for the QRU squad. We talked about how 99Woodcutting need to take the initiative in these fights. Need to look for the outplays themselves, but outplays just become so much harder when the deck is stacked against you, when you're down at 2,500 gold at 13 minutes.
Absolutely. And to contrast this with the previous game we just saw, 99Woodcutting don't have the same strength in solo lanes where, you know, you're facing a teamfight comp and you don't. Here is 99Woodcutting have side laners that can break open the game for you and sort of set up that 1-3-1. It's going to be very hard. They're going to have to look for some, you know, maybe some big Sylas ultimate steals. Maybe they can look for a couple of strong, you know, some sort of strong team fighting around, you know, Rakan engage into GP ult with Death's Daughter and GP barrel combo. But as this game goes on, team fighting will get harder and harder, and it's already really, really difficult.
And I mean, we're talking about Gangplank, right? As the game goes on, it's really going to be even more on Fishtail's shoulders than it already is. 3-2-0. All the kills for the side of 99Woodcutting. That's probably a good thing on your strongest player. Perhaps we had to change the rules to allow him to play in the tournament because there was such community outcry when he got too good. But let's see if the Masters Pika can carry this match. Obviously, a Knight Complete has the only completed mythic on their team, but when you're going up against 4 completed from the enemy, it looks a little bit less impressive.
And I mean, you say he's their carry, but look how much focus he's been getting from the side of QRU. Like, yes, he's been getting focus from his own team. Rakan's been there to cover, but every time QRU has got someone there if ever he really wants to make a play, and you can't force too much open with GP and something like on GP mid because the lane is not long enough for you to run someone down. You've got to get that poke damage down. You've got to shoot him a couple times with your gun and get a couple barrel combos off, and then maybe look to go for a dive or force a fight somewhere else. And it's not something where he's been able, even though he has got a CS lead, he's not been able to really like crack open this lane. Yasuo is 2-1-2. I mean, he's not out the game. It's not like you've dominated.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, it's all about the 10 death power spike from Yasuo. That meme exists because once Yasuo does actually hit their item breakpoints, they do become a lot stronger, right? It doesn't matter how, if they've had maybe a mediocre laning phase, but they've only gone down like 700 gold, right? That is a pretty big difference, but still has the mythic complete before most of the members on 99Woodcutting side. I don't think this Yasuo is so much set behind. It's only that Fishtail is a little bit accelerated, but of course you're going to be accelerated. You've got Gangplank, so even the gold advantage may be a little bit worse than it looks when all your gold is on this Gangplank.
Exactly right. I mean, you've got some, you know, gold from the Gangplank passive, gold, you know, it's all gone onto him. It's, you see a 1.5k gold lead, but the rest of your champions on your team are actually incredibly far behind. Like in terms of just items as well as gold income themselves. So as you all know, like it only really matters about the item spikes, but this Kayn, he's looking for a dive top against Sylas.
You can't do that anymore. Now that you've got the Kayn ult, that becomes so much harder. Oh no, Alientogato is caught out, but look, CalmMind is on the flank. No knock up there means the play probably won't continue.
Very
but
aggressive.
Look how much damage this Kayn is doing. Actually behind on items. Has a lot of gold in their pocket, has not reset. Looking for more though, the ult comes out. The center ult though with the shield. 4 members here. Alientogato getting away, the horn goes wide. The turret charge will come through. This is a retreat avenue. Flash away by Alientogato, the charm is there. There's no further ultimates. Means this Kayn will get shut down. 4 members on the prowl. CalmMind, no tornado. StarFuria forcing them away. Knockup comes through. A little bit of an overforce on the top side, but QRU gets hard punished.
And again, I mean, that initially, even with Sylas stealing the Kayn ult, it looked like with the amount of damage Kayn was doing, they might have just been able to force the fight anyway and force the play. Turns out, you know, going against them, being a little bit over-aggressive there, as 99Woodcutting have enough members to respond. Ornn ult going wide there is a big shame. There was a huge clump of members that if it had come down on, there's a good chance that fight does just go the way of QRU. But again, goes wide. It is what it is. Reset, go again. But, you know, you can see there how aggressive QRU can at least try to be, even when, you know, you look at the... So like we said about the KhaZix and the Sylas, where they want to play a little bit more aggressive early. Well, that's not what's happening. It's QRU all the way, baby. They're still forcing these fights, even if they're losing them a little bit later. So they're going to force around this Dragon, I assume. Ornn will be up, I believe, just after it.
Position, right? Ornn, yeah, should probably be up, at least for the re-engage, right? They're going to get this bot lane turret, get this massive push in the bot lane, because everyone on the side of 99Woodcutting resets. Teleport actually coming in
double TP.
This is really, really difficult. Can the Seraphine make it out? Might be forced to blow the ult early. Oh, that's a big line up. The Seraphine on the 99Woodcutting, the charm goes down, Seraphine blown up. StarFuria in the middle getting chunked out, but this is the Ornn. It is pretty tanky, but you're down the member. Diving forwards, 99Woodcutting looking for the resets. Alientogato in the middle of 3, knock up low. Unstoppable, the Ornn shut down over. SonS getting chunked out. Damage, the ult comes out from Vishal, finds the kill, and it's an absolute slaughter fest. 99Woodcutting, find the flank, find the play, find 5 kills. Incredibly done by the veteran roster.
What a call to double TP. What an unbelievable decision. Like, you know, this is the kind of thing where you notice dragons spawning, you need to make a play now. You can't be playing into stuff like the Ornn ult, into the Ras, into Seraphine, into Senna. We've got to get a pick, we've got to go. And they just call to double TP and they force. The Sylas stolen Seraphine ult, that's a tongue twister if you ever said one,
yeah.
It lands not only on Seraphine, but it also locks up Kayn for a short period of time. Nothing you can do to assist Seraphine. She falls down. Once Seraphine falls down for comps like this, your teamfight just gets so much harder. She is so much of your sustain, so much of your survivability just gone.
And look at the goal difference, man.
It swung. It swung from 1.5k in the lead of QRU. It's now swung almost, it's, you know, 2k. It's probably going to grow a little bit now in the favor of 99Woodcutting. Now, that is some real sharp decision making. That's most people might hesitate on a play like this, but immediately double TP and go is just incredible to see.
And that shows the trust and the competency of these veteran players, right?
Absolutely.
It's something you wouldn't do if you didn't trust everyone around you, if it wasn't something you'd done 10,000 times before. And in making that play, no hesitation, all gas, no brakes. 99Woodcutting can find the kill, looking for him to CalmMind. Sparky has a lot of damage. Nice knock up, no. CalmMind looking to turn this Dyrone, peeling away. Will not be enough with the knock-up. The shield bow comes in at the last second. Another shield, another knock-up. No second ult, though. Sparky now with a rampage from 0-0-2 to 4-1. 4-1 and 3. StarFuria walking away now at the play on the other side of the map. 99Woodcutting to have more members everywhere. They really are farming this map.
Yeah, absolutely. As Kayn is going in now, he's actually looking to make this play happen. He has not got the knock-up onto Rakan even.
Rakan, Rast. Same
thing.
Almost.
Same
very
chance.
similar, very similar. Both have knockups. SonS getting a little bit engaged on the dart. Leap does not land. The root goes through. StarFuria looking to get this on through. The flash ball is the aggressive play, but SonS will make it out. Alex trying to find it, but not quite. Knockup City. Everyone's airborne. Senna will die. No, the knockups over and over again. It's a bounce house. But in the end, the teleport comes through. QB trying to find where StarFuria will die. Triple kill onto this Sylas and CalmMind. I think you've got to boost up pretty high for this one. I don't think it's enough. The damage, the ult won't be enough. The Kingslayer takes down Sylas in the bot lane. Charizard getting dove on as well. This is one dead Seraphine. The charm not even tanking the turret. Dyrone is still. Charizard will fall. 5-0, or 5-1 actually, once again in this play. How do you do it, 99Woodcutting?
We were saying it, Droff, they need to be brawling out of their minds. They need to be playing like psychos, and honestly, this is absolutely psychotic play. Like, this is just constant fighting, and I think QRU maybe are playing like they still have the lead that they had previously, right? They're playing like they're going to be able to make these plays where they're forcing a little bit too hard. They need to recognize that after the sort of disaster of a fight in bot lane, they are no longer in control of the tempo of the match. They need to be playing a little bit more reactively.
1,000 gold.
Yeah,
in the
and
lead.
it's just snowballing out of control now. Again, it's not. I want to make a quick remark on the fight we saw at the top is that Senna stayed alive for a long time, but you realistically have to be playing back into your Senna. When you're playing like this, playing with this Kayn and playing with this Ornn, they're playing too far forward.
Sorry, they want to fight again. They're bored.
They just want to go.
2 minutes now. Okay, good. You can keep making your point.
I was just saying, like, you can't, like, yes, Senna's the support, but she needs to stay alive. Seraphine needs to stay alive. You've got to be playing around these two champions, playing back with them, and sort of, Kayn has that ability to peel back in some ways with his knockups, as well as playing forward. And at the moment, I think they have one mindset, and that's just going in. We're seeing, really great target selection coming out from 99Woodcutting here. Like, if you see that fight, they immediately go, okay, we've got to get Senna out of this fight now. She's gone. Previous fights, they managed to pick up when Ornn was ulting. They immediately shut him down. He can't get the second cast off. This is the kind of focus you need to have when you're playing comps like this against these kind of team fighting comps. Because if you can't focus and land your crucial abilities on the right targets, they just sustain through everything, stabilize their fights, and then shut you down. So it's great to be seeing that they're actually able to do this, because it's not an easy thing to do.
I'm so glad you had so much to say, because my voice is knackered from all the constant fights we've had going on. Alright, I was worried there. I was worried we were going to see 10.
It's another fight.
It's not a fight, no. But yeah, honestly, super scrappy play from 99Woodcutting. And I've had to blow my voice out every time because they keep making these miracle plays happen. It's not like they're just winning these fights automatically because it's the nature of their champs, right? They're getting knocked up, they're getting CC chain, but these aggressive decisions, these flashes forwards onto SonS rather than trying to play the fight slow, front to back. 99Woodcutting shows such an understanding and such a mastery of the way their composition needs to play.
And so what we are seeing coming in, so we mentioned this way back, anti-healing is coming through. GP has decided to be the one to pick it up, as Rakan is more likely going towards something like that redemption. It is not a bad item on GP at all, and he's also got the income to really buy that without feeling like he's limiting his build, right? He's not sitting there going, I really wish I had the IE, or I really wish I had, some lethality or something. He is going for, has got enough gold in his back pocket where he can sort of buy that mortal reminder and not feel too bad. Crit is always good on GP anyway. So they are gonna be catching out Sylas here in the top lane. We'll have to see if he could maybe trade, because he is very strong at the moment, and he has Zhonya's.
You've already traded the Dragon. How much more can 99Woodcutting get out? There's 4 members collapsing, stealing away the Kayn. That is a lot of survivability. The ult comes down from Gangplank. Members are here to support. The ult buys so much time. Sniping bullets with the Jhin. Seraphine up onto 1, and the health bars are too low. The Zhonya's StarFuria taken down, and once again, it's a disaster for QRU. What?
Actually, someone arrest these men. Arrest these men, send them to The Hague. That is disgusting amounts of damage coming out from GP there. The fact that Sylas survives, yes, he had Kayn ult, but he's still alive. That is...
still alive. I was worried for a second, but no, still alive. That's... mad.
It's madness.
I want to watch every single game being a 99Woodcutting game. The way these guys fight, the way these guys play, the poise, the mental, just... stalling for so long up in that top lane, the hopeless scenario. 191919, more like 9-1 if you ask me. Honestly, impressive.
You were mentioning trust. That is a huge amount of trust, because they go at the dragon, and then yes, they recognize Sylas as being caught. They recognize that QB is being collapsed upon. And they go, you know what, we're not just going to sacrifice him and try and push elsewhere. We know we can win this fight, and Sylas can stall it for long enough to where we'll get there and we'll win it. Like, they made that decision, not in the moment. It was, 10, 20 seconds prior. And so he steals the Kayn ult. Great decision-making there. Doesn't fumble the bag. And manages to survive for long enough to get his team into a position where they just clean up the fight. And there were knockups coming through. There was damage coming from QRU, but it just wasn't going to be enough. I mean, that is a huge amount of trust, and you can't buy that. You can't sit there. You can pick up good players, but you really cannot find that kind of trust from new players. That's really incredible to see, that belief in each other.
I do want to point out, I think the only reason that play happened is because 99Woodcutting have picked up the axe in the inventory of Jungle Sparky. They now have their hatchet. They now can play the game. They can chop down these turrets, right? But still, honestly, the point you're making is super true, super valid. The amount of trust, the amount of experience as well to hold till the last second, making it out, and now with this Baron, it's so hard for QRU to clear.
And, the Yasuo, if he was fed, could do something, but he can't. Sparky is actually able to duel this Kayn.
Level advantage, more than duel, slice through, having to blow a lot of defensive cooldowns here. Seraphine ult only connects onto the side, but that's enough for 99Woodcutting. The knockups, I've seen this all before. Everyone's flying everywhere, but QRU are falling. That is a shutdown though onto the KhaZix. QB got very low, the slow coming out. Lots of low health plus for 99Woodcutting here. The knockup, the Yasuo ult, and it's disaster for 99Woodcutting. It's a 3, but it's a 2 for 2 at the moment actually, but Dyrone will end up falling. It's a 4 for 2. 3. These fights are so messy. Still, QRU come out ahead. They do lose the top inhibitor. Can they defend versus this giga-fed Gangplank? How fancy are your feet? Looking for the engaged StarFuria, just getting run down. Knockup is there. The cleanse burning, not quite dead yet. The knockup doesn't come through. Fishsoul just in the base of QRU, just chilling. Gonna be able to walk out with the barrel, but God. What a team fight. Everyone just goes flying everywhere and everyone dies. Absolute brilliant watch.
GP wasn't even there to put barrels down. So, you know, that's a, you know, they pull the trigger, QRU, they obviously get engaged, want to decide, like, well, we have to fight, you know, GP's not there, we're just going to go, as they are going to look to catch out this GP. Oh, the flash tornado goes wide. They are going to pick up this kill.
The flash goes out. I mean, we thought that last time as well. There's a lot of damage forcing out the shield, but CalmMind will survive. Sparky, maybe on the assassination, looking forward still, unafraid. Dashing away from that slow means that they will make it out. Nice, so picking off the Gangplank. Get a little bit more gold in your back pocket, but still, you are now 7k behind. That's actually not as high as I thought it would be, but the Mountain Soul spawning very soon.
Senna's getting caught out here. Oh
no. Nice flash over the wall knock up though. Actually, it's a numbers advantage for QRU. The root coming out, the Seraphine ult goes wide. KhaZix so tanky, living so long. The knock up onto the Kayn that doesn't result in anything. Ult coming out for Dyrone, but that's 2 huge cooldowns being used there for the side of QRU. You use the last breath. You use the encore. Fighting for this dragon is now nearly impossible.
I mean, it's going to be really close to last breath being up again, but the encore is really the game changer here. Large Seraphine ult coming through, one that maybe lands onto the KhaZix, onto the Sylas, onto the Jhin, is going to be able to cause so much pain and suffering. But it's not going to be available. And so, are they just going to give over Cloud Soul?
I mean, Cloud Soul on Rakan, deadly. Cloud Soul on Sylas hurts a lot. Cloud Soul on Gangplank as well.
Like KhaZix as well. Oh my god. I mean, if there's a game, you know, there are some champions maybe with a better Cloud Soul, but if you're making a composition, this is a lot of champs that really quite enjoy having that movement speed. And
I'm afraid there.
I would be a little bit concerned. This KhaZix as well, early on we were saying, oh, you know, he seems to be falling behind. The Kayn was making plays. He was able to make stuff happen. And KhaZix is, you know, he was the highest level in his team when we remarked on how it was a 3-level difference. He's somehow gone from being not really in the game to very much being a key factor.
EWI scale.
We were obviously maybe a little bit concerned he might not be able to make plays onto the back line. He isn't going to be able to assassinate or really do anything, but he's just been able to, with the level lead, he's able to brawl this Kayn. He's able to actually take the fight to QRU. And that's not what you want to be seeing.
Actually, the knock-up, though, a lot of damage coming down is very tanky. Kayn ult is there. The jump away will not save their life. The damage is down. That's the carry. One of the carries assassinated. Alientogato, though, forced to run away. That was huge ultis. Got a nice knock-up at the end. But that's, you do pick the jungler, and that stops the side of 99Woodcutting from being able to start up this Baron.
You have to be a little bit careful here. The GP damage is so high. He's got IE now. Like, this is kind of team fights where they've got to play it, you know, almost perfectly, QRU here, because they've got no Ornn. They've not got Last Breath. They've still got Encore, but they need to be... This GP is the biggest factor here. If he gets a barrel combo down onto your team, they're probably all just dead. So you're going to have to look here to try and pick him off, and it's going to be hard when he can just cleanse that Seraphine ult. That's what I would be looking for here. I'm looking for... Yes, it's great to get picked on KhaZix in the jungle. Yes, it's going to be nice if you can pick off, you know, the Sylas, but you need to be looking for this GP in these team fights. If they can do that, despite the gold differential of, you know, 6.5k, they can win these team fights, QRU. They have the tools to do so.
Yeah, of course. I think it's kind of important right now, when you get to this point in the game, to look at vision, right? And look at the vision control in the jungle for 99Woodcutting here. Nowhere in the bot side is safe. Nowhere in the top side is safe. 99Woodcutting can start off this Baron with impunity, I feel. KhaZix will be spotted moving towards it, though, on that red ward, surviving for about 3 years. So Alientogato, CalmMind, everyone knows that the jungler is heading up here. CalmMind maybe getting caught out. Double knockup. Not going to choose to engage on it. Nice wind wall. Seraphine connects on two. Not going to be enough. The root comes through, but the Gangplank ult will dissuade any further engage. Now, how much can you get done? Damage coming down. Gangplank is immediately... But look, CalmMind survived the sliver of health. Sparky looking for more, but that's 2 dead immediately. QRU could probably look towards the Baron.
Are they Are they listening to us?
Wait.
Are they listening to us? Because that's
they're
about
listening to the rhythm of the game. We're all in tune. We all know what has to happen, and they do it. I was a bit scared, but CalmMind didn't commit with that last breath, but they knew they had a better opportunity. And 2 full for 99 Woodcutting, and your only damage left is a Jhin and a conditional KhaZix.
absolutely.
With objective bounty. That's like a 2,000 gold swing.
Okay, so they are going to get. They might look to maybe. Okay, now Ornn will probably be able to get out as well. I'm assuming. Yeah, he has to unfortunately flash over the wall, but he is going to get out. This is suddenly going to go from being 99 Woodcutting.
Does pop the ult, the move speed comes through the knockup. That last breath has no cooldown, overcommit or overextension. You get the mid turret, but your jungler is still dead. Thankfully, no Elder Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, it's good there's no real objectives. Obviously, QRU had already taken Baron, so there was no threat of, you know, there's no chance that you could, if you dial, they're going to get Baron because it's already gone. In the end, they do end up losing that top inhib again to minions, I believe. So that is a bit unfortunate for QRU to be able to win a fight and then still lose that structure as it respawned. But they're doing exactly what they need to do. That pick is, they have to get GP every fight. If they enable 99 Woodcutting to have these kind of scrappier fights where GP does get his damage down, he's going to shred through you. And there's not much you can do. So being able to actually, even though it looked a bit dodgy to begin with, you know, with the Seraphine ult not really landing onto who you wanted to land onto, maybe, you know, you didn't really have the damage there at the time, or not coming through and actually picking that GP was huge, as they do land a stun onto the Kayn.
Yeah, Kayn still very survivable, going to be able to dash their way out. Not going to be able to find too much. We shouldn't see too much action happening here until the objectives start. And I just want to remark that a lot of these plays, sometimes you'll see a league game and you won't hear the casters comment on it. But sometimes a lot of plays happen because teams make mistakes, you know, stepping a bit too far forward, you know, not respecting damage. It feels like both these teams are playing the way they need to be playing. They're not necessarily misplaying. They're doing to play towards their outs. We haven't seen any real fumbles or bags. Really nice plays from everyone. QB, Fishtoll, Alientogato, CalmMind, StarFuria, SonS to survive those fights. Some nice hits from Charizard. Really feels like they're all firing on all cylinders, making these plays happen rather than just falling into them.
And both teams are also, as you say, making it happen. They aren't playing scared. Like, they're not, like, so many times you see, especially when you're early on in a season of any tournament or any league, there's a bit of fear creeps in initially and you're concerned about making plays or being aggressive. But this is just, they're playing, you know, well.
Like
both teams are playing well.
In a good way. The good kind of Sigma male psychos rather than, you know, going in on every engage. Alientogato, though, maybe caught out, dodges away. Nice block at the knockup there. Seraphine ult does connect onto 2, but there's no follow-up. Dyrone ulting over the wall, flashing over the wall. That's some big ults not available for this dragon fight. No Seraphine encore. Flashing away from the engage. Rakan looking for it, doesn't find anyone. The knockup, the damage comes down. The IX will fall on the other side of the fight. You do pick off the Seraphine, but that's the Seraphine with massive ult from the Ornn, then lands onto 2. QRU found the fight. Yasuo does end up falling. StarFuria trying to tank up a SonS. The only damage left is get engaged on. I say they found the fight. They haven't quite. That's Ornn, the last one alive. Not going to be able to do too much. Will end up falling. It's a 3, 4, 5, and look, 99 Woodcutting want to end the game.
And I think this will be the end here. It's, you know, GP's going to just destroy these turrets. So, again, I mean, right there, there's that final fight. Seraphine ends up being caught off on an angle where she's not with the rest of her team. She gets shut down on the top side there. And it's just unfortunate that's almost the way that it ends, because these team fights were so impressive from both sides. I wanted it to continue.